Okay, so my name is Shannon Swim, and I am the Sagebrush and Prisons Project Coordinator for Nevada and California for the Institute for Applied Ecology. And we're going to kind of wrap up the presentation part of this symposium with a two-part presentation talking about a program that takes the importance of local adaptation to produce native plant material in a very unusual setting, and then provides this material to our land managers for restoration. So I'm going to introduce the Sagebrush and Prisons Project to you, and then the lovely Miss Lovelock with the Bureau of Land Management is going to talk about what happens to these plants after they leave prison. So let's talk about restoring land and lives. So the purpose of this program is to improve habitat for greater sage-grouse by engaging state and federal prison systems in production of sagebrush for habitat restoration out on BLM land. And as we have kind of been learning all day, the best way to successfully do this is to use locally adapted material, which is what we do. So I get two main questions frequently asked with this program, and the first is why sagebrush? So all of the adults in custody and the officers always want to know why sagebrush, because it's everywhere, right? I'm guessing that I don't really need to get into the why sagebrush here. Most of us know the threats that are facing the sagebrush ecosystem, but it's always a good reminder for me to get out of my native plant bubble and remember that oftentimes the general public does not know the answer to that question of why are we growing all of that sagebrush. A question you probably are asking yourself is why prisons? So this is a map that has historic and current sage-grouse habitat on it, and each one of those little dots on there represents a prison. So as you can see from all of these dots on there, the Department of Corrections in the West is perfectly situated to help restore sage-grouse habitat. The dots that are red are prisons that we are actively growing sagebrush in. The orange ones are dots that we have recently grown sagebrush in, and all of those lovely blue dots are potential prisons that we could grow sagebrush in. Another reason why prisons are a great place to grow sagebrush for restoration is that the adults in custody have a lot of time on their hands, and they're often looking for meaningful ways to use that time. So the program currently operates in 9 institutions across 5 different states. Of those 9, 4 are in Nevada and California. And this year with COVID presented some interesting situations, but of those 9 institutions, 7 of them are actively growing sagebrush, which is quite impressive and a real testament to how much the institutions value this program. In some cases, our program was the only program that ran this year because of COVID. So woohoo. The other 2 institutions that are not actively growing sagebrush right now are still participating in educational aspects of our program. It seriously takes a village to run this program, and so we have many, many partners. So the Institute for Applied Ecology, which is a nonprofit based in Corvallis, Oregon, they run this program. The Bureau of Land Management is a major partner. Not only do they fund the program, but we work very, very closely with our local field offices to get the seed from them and then get them their plants. The Department of Corrections in each state and the Federal Bureau of Prisons, they are obviously huge partners. We could not run the program without them. And then the program is also a part of the Sustainability in Prisons project. So what exactly do we do? So at the beginning of spring, usually around early April, we get seed from our local BLM offices. Now this seed was either collected out near the targeted restoration area or is seed that is from a transferable seed zone to where the plants will be going out. So we get the seed from the BLM, and then the inmates mix all of the soil together. They put the soil in the containers, then they seed the containers and they water them in. And so they are a part of the entire beginning process, and they start with the seed. Then for the next 6 to 7 months, these plants are essentially their babies. They water them, they fertilize them, they thin them, they weed them. Sometimes they even sing to them. So these guys are out there for several hours every day taking care of these plants. And all while they're doing that, they are also keeping daily logs, which is getting them experience with data collection, where they note what the weather is doing, if we have any pest or disease problems, and it really just gets them involved, and they are thoroughly immersed in the process. But we don't just have them grow sagebrush. So we also want to teach them the why sagebrush part. So there's this whole educational aspect to the program where we dive into all of that, why the sagebrush ecosystem is so important. In Nevada, we've talked about lots of different things, including what invasive species are and the ones that we want to watch out for, what soil is, native plants of the sagebrush steppe, different animals of the sagebrush steppe. And it's really great because the combination of hands-on experience growing the plants with the education really solidifies how important the work is that they're doing. For the educational part of the program, we also frequently bring in guest lectures to share their expertise on different ecological concepts or conservation ideas. And several of the presenters in this symposium have gone to prison. So maybe after the presentation, when everybody's talking, maybe one of them would be willing to share a little bit about their experience. At the end of the season, then we have to get all of those sagebrush plants into boxes and then get them to the BLM. So this really translates to putting lots of sagebrush plugs into bags and then into boxes and then getting them on to the BLM vehicles. And this picture down here at the bottom on the right is one of my favorite pictures because last year in Nevada, we filled a 53-foot long semi full of sagebrush plugs, and we didn't even have enough room. The BLM still had to come back to get the rest of their plants the next day. So that was quite impressive. That's a lot of sagebrush plugs. At the end of the season, we also do award ceremonies. So these awards are a really great opportunity for us to be able to show our gratitude for all of the participants' hard work and dedication to the program. They work really hard to grow those sagebrush babies, and we want to acknowledge that. It's also a great place where we can list skills that they've learned along the way, like working on a team or all of the horticulture knowledge that they've gained. It's also a really nice opportunity for us to be able to acknowledge some of their unique talents that helped make the program a success that year. Some participants are very creative thinkers, others are very communicative, some are super organized, but it's a great opportunity to be able to acknowledge their unique talents. For some of them, this is the first time they've ever finished a project. It's the first time they've ever been given an award, and it's really great for them to be able to participate in something positive. So let's talk about some of the benefits of this program. So most of these benefits are geared towards the actual correctional centers. But this program provides high quality detailed work experiences for the participants. It also helps reduce idleness and behavior problems within the prison. I think we all know that idle hands do the devil's work. It gives them valuable skills. So they're learning a lot about horticulture and working on a team, and hopefully they can put that on a resume, and when they're released, go out and it will make it easier for them to get a job. The program provides a good image to the public, and also probably most importantly, it gives them a chance to give back to the community, which is really huge for them. So there's also a lot more benefits to the Sagebrush in Prisons project. One of my favorites is outreach. So like I was talking about before, I walk in every year and everybody wants to know, why are we growing all of that sagebrush? So this is a great opportunity to explain why the sagebrush ecosystem is so important, and why we need to conserve it. And it's awesome because it's not just the participants that are taking it in. So they get all of this knowledge and then they share it with their families. So the message really gets out to the population about why this stuff matters. The Sagebrush in Prisons project has also produced over 1.5 million genetically appropriate sagebrush plants for sage-grouse habitat restoration, and that number does not include this year's plants. So woohoo! And let's not forget the 350 plus other species that benefit from this habitat restoration, not just the sage-grouse. So I wanted to share with you what some of the participants say about the program. All of these quotes are from Nevada. One participant has said that this project gives us purpose. I've been in prison for 19 years, and this is the first time I've been able to give back to the community. It's a huge blessing. So there's that giving back to the community bit again. Like, it really makes a huge difference in their lives to be able to contribute something positive instead of something negative. Another inmate said, growing sagebrush makes me feel I can be successful. This project makes me feel it will be less of a challenge to get a job when I get out because I am being productive. So it really seriously has a huge impact on them. I think we all know that, you know, once we get on that positive track, it really helps to keep us going in that direction. Another participant has said, I'm glad I can help make a contribution to our local ecosystem. It's nice to have something useful to do in a place that makes you feel so useless. So some of the quotes can be a little bit heartbreaking. And lastly, being with the plants is an escape for me, very calming. I like to learn about the environment and how humans affect it. I have become more aware of my role in conservation and more mindful of how I can help. So powerful, powerful words, and it's so rewarding to be able to be a part of them. So 10 minutes isn't a lot, so if you have some questions and you want to know more about the program, please reach out and let me know.
Thanks, Shannon. So we do have time for questions, and I do have a couple for you. How are prisoners picked for the project? Is it just whoever volunteers?
So that is different at each institution. Some institutions pick who can participate and who can't. At some institutions, they have to apply to be able to participate. But it just kind of varies from institution to institution.
All right. Do you know what percentage of prisoners are able to obtain jobs in an agriculture-related field after prison? And what percentage of prisoners who participate return to prison?
So I would love to have those numbers. Unfortunately, when you are working with the Department of Corrections, you are not allowed to have outside contact with inmates even after they've been released. And so it gets a little bit tricky with tracking, because that would not be something that I would be able to do. We would have to have somebody else do it. But I have definitely had thoughts of, it would be awesome if we could have a grad student somewhere actually track these things.
All right. Are there similar programs to get low security prisoners out to collect sagebrush seed or plant plugs, or show that prisoners or show the prisoners the result of their efforts?
Yes, so there are, I think Fred mentioned it a little bit, but the conservation camps have been out collecting seeds. So you can go through the local conservation camps and they can help collect seed. A lot of other states, actually, I think every other state except for Nevada, the inmates actually start from seed with they start with the sagebrush seed, they grow the plants, and then they actually get to go out and plant them because they are, even though they might be in a medium facility prison, they are minimums, and so they get to go out. Unfortunately, my crews in Nevada are all medium security, and they do not get to partake in the planting out.
One last question for you, Shannon. Do any members of the nursery industry around the Great Basin area complain that the prisons are competing or undercutting their sales?
Maybe that has happened once or twice. I don't really know if there is in fact direct competition, just because the need is so great, right? Like, we have produced over 1.5 million plants for the Great Basin, and we're nowhere near even scratching the surface for how much material is needed. And so I think it's just a perceived threat. I don't think that the threat is actually real.
All right, thank you. Thanks for that presentation, Shannon.